It's finally time for the great LEGO City expansion. At the moment, if we follow the train running through the city, we have following problem. It simply derails at the end of these train tracks, and therefore the very first thing we have to do is extend the entire train network. First of all, with a double train track leading right in front of the city right there. And then after this curve, this will be the next train stop I'm going to add into this next part of the city. In the very back of the city, I'm planning on hiding most of these train tracks and then only have one single train track connecting to the rest of the LEGO City. Now, here comes the most important part, the planning. First thing I want to do is hide the entire diagonal train track underneath a mountain inside a tunnel. On top of this mountain right there, it's not going to be as high as the rest of the mountains I've added in the very back of the city, but on top of this mountain, I'm planning on adding a small castle or sort of ruin somewhere hidden in this forest right there. In the front, I might add some sort of farm with a few fields or something. And now, this is the most important part right there. This is going to be the next train station. Everything in this area will be a bit more modern because I want to switch things up a bit, make the city a bit bigger, add some different types of architecture as well, not as European maybe as the rest of my city. The transition, of course, will be quite difficult, maybe some sort of elevated road in the back right there. And now, this is also the thing I'm going to show you next. Right there on the left-hand side, this will be the next great project, the airport. And for that, let's take a look at this extension on the very outer part of the LEGO City for the runway of the airport. This is now going to be completely insane. I'm currently planning on making the runway 10 base plates long. Right there, this small expansion I've built will be the airfield with a terminal in the back right there. And then all this space will be solely for the runway of the airport. But that's for next episode. Right now, since we've spent 2 minutes on planning, I think it's time to start building. In this case, in the old section of the city, because we still have to finish things up a little bit. Right there, this is now extremely annoying right off the bat because I have to remodel this area. At the beginning, I thought I might as well reconnect the siding of the train tracks with the rest of the train layout, but now decided against that, which now meant I had this one siding left and therefore definitely needed to add a buffer stop at the very end. This is what it's going to look like. All these hinges right there I'm starting to build right now are simply to absorb the shock if a train comes with too much speed right into the buffer stop. There you can also see how exactly I've managed to do that. And now as soon as I finished that, I could now use the outer parts of these sleepers, where of course underneath the tiles I just removed were still studs remaining, and therefore I could use these studs in order to connect hinges once again in front and in the back, where the buffer is then going to end. Connect this entire construct I've just built, which as you can see in front leads up because that's where the buffer itself is going to be. I've built that using round plates at the very end, and this now completes this section. Absolutely love this highly detailed buffer stop at the end, which now means we can focus on the next part, and I'm quite sure this is going to be one of my favorite projects, the cable car running onto the mountain. Now, this is what the lift station is inspired from. This is from my local ski resort in Innsbruck. The only thing I haven't built at the moment is the entire Technic construct right underneath the roof. I'll add that as soon as I motorize everything. But when it comes to the design of the building, I of course sized down this side building right there. The only thing I copied are the stripes on top of the roof right there, and then took this building, put it on the other side of the lift station itself, and this is now the end result of the station I'm going to add in just a second. First of all, this is what the interior looks like. I of course still have to show you that with the little entrance right there where you of course can scan your ticket. Now this is me trying to figure out the exact positioning of the lift station so we can actually have a cable car running up onto the mountain. I of course had to tile everything because with the studs underneath I of course wouldn't be able to angle the building. Now for the parking lot, I didn't want to cover everything up in tiles and plates and make everything gray. Therefore I decided to only add 2 parking spaces. This is probably then going to be for workers, I guess, or maintenance cars or something like that, and the rest of the tourists have to arrive via bus or train. Didn't want to waste the entire beautiful area right there by covering everything up in parking lots. After having that complete, it's time to connect the lift station via a turntable, although this is probably not going to be enough to hold everything in place once the cable car is running, but that's a future problem for now, I guess. I've then also spent several more hours preparing beautiful pine trees for that area right there. These are extremely annoying to build, but look so beautiful in the end. In general, vegetation is always quite annoying to build, but absolutely worth it because once again in this area, for example, it's so important in order to hide the studs, add details, and this of course is only the base layer. Afterwards, when everything is complete, this is what the first before and after picture looks like. Major difference of course with the new building we've added and all the vegetation. By the way, when it comes to the signal box right there, I'm planning on adding 2 sidings as well. I'll show you that towards the end. For now, I quickly want to continue planning because for the mountain itself, this is of course what the top is going to look like. I definitely want to add snow on top right there, and then for the rest of the mountain extend it quite a bit. When it comes to the size of the cable car, I want to make it too small in theory for the lift station in the valley, and then it barely fits into the top station right there on the mountain, which should then solve any theoretical scale problems we have back in the mountain area. But for now, I'd say it's time for the most fun thing of today's video. We have to let the trains run. And now it's finally time for the very first full train ride through my entire LEGO city. Let's first of all start everything up. This back there is of course going to be the very first stop of the entire train ride. And now you have to imagine this being a passenger car at some point. And then this will be the next stop. As soon as the exhibition is open, then I'll program everything. Then it's going to stand there for about 1 minute or something, and let's continue everything. Of course, it's going to be much slower at some point, but just to show you how exactly the train runs, I'm speeding everything up quite a bit. Right there, the entire train is probably going to fully disappear, and now this will be the next train stop for once again a minute or so, and then let's speed everything up once again. Back there, it's now going to disappear inside the tunnel. Absolutely love this perspective. And now also back there where these arches are. This is so beautiful. I just love it. And now this is of course once again completely disappeared underneath the rest of the city, and now we're back to where we started, where the next stop is going to be. Once again, just a reminder, everything is going to be much slower as soon as everything's programmed, but this was just to show you the main path of the main train going around in a loop. I'm also going to take advantage of 2 more switches I'm going to add right there, and then of course all the different train tracks I have for different trains that can be stored on the sidings while other trains pass by, just so you keep that in mind. And now for the part I'm most hyped about. Right here you can see 100,000 new LEGO pieces I bought, mainly for the big airport that's going to be right there. You can also see that by all these light bluish gray bricks, as well as the base plates. And then of course this was quite expensive. Right here the 16 by 16 green plates for the grass in between the runway and then the rest of the airport. And probably right now, as soon as I finish this video, I'm going to start with what's hopefully going to be my favorite project on this channel, the airport. One final thing I have to show you because this is so awesome and I'm so grateful for that. A viewer from my German channel sent me that. This is a complete micro-scale replica of my entire LEGO city over in the old location. So those of you who followed the channel for a year now, this section from there to there is represented in this area. The Wild West mock over there as well, and now the rest is of course modified with these half-timbered houses right there in this section and so on. Then some of you might also remember that over in my old location I punched 2 holes inside these 2 walls right there. I can also show you a quick video right now. And then I had the train running through 3 rooms in total, which was honestly a bit more interesting than what's currently the layout right here, but I'll probably add something similar at some point as well right here. In the end, I just quickly wanted to show you this awesome mock towards the end of this video. And with that being said, that's it for today's update. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you again in the next one.